Limehouse eats daylight and exhales fog. I found a parcel on the embankment with a smear of ash and a single, perfumed thread. The smell was coal and jasmine, cheap coal smoke with a ghost of perfume. The kind only a woman with secrets might leave behind. I checked the parcel: a theatre ticket, a receipt, and a scrap of silk, black thread frayed and stained with something darker than tea. On the bridge a watchman spat and cursed the cold. His breath made ghosts of his words. He remembered a woman with a fur muff and quick hands. I asked about the theatre. He spat another name like a curse and pointed toward the east, where lanterns bob and the smoke never clears. I folded the scrap into my palm, feeling the fibers, and decided the night would tell me what the day refused. The theatre waits, and so does a liar. The theatre smelled of grease paint, sweat and old lies. The stage manager greeted me with a smile that bled like a seam in a cheap coat. I produced the ticket. His eyebrows knotted. "She came twice this week," he said, sat near the box, wore black and left her glove on the pew. In the dim rows, I found the glove, wool, slightly singed at the cuff. Tucked inside was a scrap of a theatre program, circled in ink. The circled name belonged to an act that ended each night with a curtain call and then slipped out back, a singer of no small consequence to certain men. I tracked her down to a boarding house smelling of tea and starch. She opened the door in a wool dress and eyes full of careful silence. She spoke in whispers, said a name that grated against the tongue, and slid me a scrap of paper with a ship's name. It smelled faintly of jasmine, too. The paper led to an address in a dockside tavern where velvet curtains masked a room of easier vices and harder secrets. Inside, opium smoke braided with brandy. A man with a scarred jaw offered me information for a price, and a quiet favor in the dark. He spoke of a ship, the Nightingale, loading at dawn. Its manifest was guarded, and its captain kept better company than any cleric in town. I bribed the barkeep for a watchman's rota and a list of departures. He told me the Nightingale sailed for Rotterdam with a cabin booked to a man of note. At the docks, the air tasted of salt, coal, and iron. The Nightingale's hull waited like a patient beast, ropes creaking with quiet appetite. I watched a gentleman step aboard with a suitcase stitched in midnight leather. His arrival braided the ship to the theatre and to men who preferred darkness to daylight. I tailed him through warehouses where rats and secrets nested alike. Every footstep echoed on slick boards like an accusation. In a locked office, I found correspondence. A ledger of names, sums, and a heading that read, "For quiet disposal." The ink smelled of iron and fear. One name repeated like a refrain: Lord Harrowby. He wears linen by day and cruelty by night. His signature was a blot of red wax I did not like. I confronted the gentleman under the lamppost. He smiled with the confidence of a man who thinks money buys silence. He offered only a cold courtesy. He left a card with a club crest and said little. As he melted into fog, I pocketed the card and felt the net tighten around someone who thinks crowns excuse murder. The ledger and the card fit like a key into a lock. The club door would open at midnight, and behind it, answers or knives. I chose midnight. Inside the club, the air tasted of lemon peel and old tobacco. Men in linen vests laughed like nothing could stick to them, until I spoke of receipts. They denied everything with practiced civility. A waiter moved between us with silver and silence. I watched the crease of a familiar brow and a trembling hand. When I revealed the ledger and the Nightingale's bookings, the room became a slow clock, each face reading seconds of panic and slow, polite fury. Lord Harrowby stood and spoke only to say that business made strange bedfellows. His voice was syrup over steel. The room listened as if to a verdict. The waiter suddenly collapsed dead at our feet, a needle in his palm and blood like a comma on a napkin. In that single movement, the charade broke into something ugly. They scattered with the speed of men used to buying futures. I left with names in ink and a night heavier than before. The truth hadn't surfaced, but it had been disturbed. Please like and subscribe.